Alright, just getting up. I stayed in bed until I actually saw the sun up. That's about 7:30 on Halloween 31st. 29.7 degrees. The low temperature was 28 point something, so that's probably last night. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. I got some sleep. I won't say it was great sleep, but I got some. So I'm torn. Does it even make sense to start the freaking heater? I did. I don't know if it makes any sense or not. Um, I'm gonna get a jacket and find a toque. I think I saw some in the bus still. I must have some fleece around here somewhere too. So I think it'll warm up once the sun gets going. So yeah. Moving on. All right. Good morning, world. It's Halloween, so I'm gonna dress up and wear a toque, right? Perfect. Anyway, it was 28 degrees inside the house last night. It was a little cold. Yeah. It's warming up. It actually feels much warmer outside in the sun. Got a few things I got to do today, but I just wanted to do kind of a quick walk around. What's going on now is subscribers are at the moment about 990. So we're getting close to the 1,000. So I thought I'd do a walk around now and then have the video ready so that when I do hit 1,000, I'll just release this as the 1,000, but we're not actually quite there yet. Okay, this is a huge and monumentous occasion on the 10th of November, which is today as I am recording and editing this video. The video is actually recorded on Halloween Day, so this is, 10 days later. So, email today from YouTube. Congratulations, you've been approved to join the YouTube Partner Program. Your channel, Carlin Comm, has been accepted into the YouTube Partner Program and is now able to monetize on YouTube. And then they go through, how to get started. We recommend you do this. Use your common sense, don't abuse the site, blah, blah, blah. And they close by, we are looking forward to working with you. Thanks, the YouTube team. So, this is it, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to every single one of you who have subscribed to the channel. And I'm hoping in the year to come that we can do some exciting and interesting projects. I guess what I can say is I feel like we're at a crossroads right now. The ranch is kind of on hold for now. My situation is I'm living in the pickup in the camper during the week and then going home on the weekends. I get home once a weekend, once a week, once every other week lately. So it's kind of surreal. I mean, I just finished building the house and I don't get to see the house, so it's kind of a weird situation there. But so I think this next year, if we look forward into 2020, I will try to finish up some stuff on the house build. But I'm not going to put a lot of energy into the house because I'm not there very much. The energy I'll be putting in lately, finishing the truck camper, what I'm sleeping in, adding solar to the truck so I can run my laptop in the truck. I just picked up a couple deep cycle batteries. A lot of you have already seen that video. So I'm going to be doing some electrical in the truck so that I can basically continue using the truck as my recording studio for doing videos. So that kind of thing. So it's going to shift almost into like a van life channel. So that kind of a thing. And some off-grid, and I've talked a lot about Mars Clipper, the book, and so on. The first draft of the book is nearly finished, and from there we go forward. I'm not sure what direction that's going to go after that, but I'll go back and start editing and then try to split that off and maybe do some animation or something based on the book. So that might happen. I used to have a roadmap, and I kind of gave up on that a couple of years ago. So we'll just make it up as we go. Anyway, I really wanted to say thank you. Um, it sounds cliche, but honestly, without people watching the videos and commenting and asking questions and giving advice and everything, I probably wouldn't have bothered making the videos after the first 100 or so. You know, I probably would shoot them for myself, but odds are I would never have spent the time editing and posting them. So, um, yeah, it's been fun having you guys coming along for the ride. So, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and continue the video, and here we go. Couple of things. I've been working in town in El Paso, so I'm sleeping in the truck during the week, and then came home last night. I got home about midnight last night. So I'm not going to show the whole setup right now, but this is going to change hopefully this weekend. I've been sleeping open air actually, which it's getting kind of cold this time of year, so I'm going to make some more improvements. I don't want to build a full camper shell like I did last time. It was just awkward. I never really liked it kept me alive, I'll say that. That part was good. So I'm not going to build another one of those. Basically what I want is just sort of a weatherproof cocoon that will keep me sheltered without being so big. That doesn't seem very big, but it blocked the visibility pretty bad. So that's about it for that. Otherwise, truck is doing well. This is hilarious. We've still got some blooms left. End of October. They probably looked a little better before the freeze. At the moment, no wind at all. You can see the dew on the truck still. A little frost line right up there. So it definitely was frozen out here. I checked this morning, first thing, the water in the cans didn't freeze, so that's good. So this was the year. We built the house, and we built the little shed out here. This is an extension of the shorter shade shed that I built the year before, I guess it was, or whenever that was. When I built this one, it was always just too small. I used 8-foot roofing. So I made the decision to stop after I built the first 8 feet, and I just decided it wasn't big enough for what I wanted, so I just stopped. And then before I built the house, I decided to go ahead and build this. This was a very haphazardly, not very well planned, but it turned out okay. But it was just kind of a spur of the moment where I thought, well, I really needed somewhere to store tools while I was building the house. Also, I had a bunch of stuff that needed to get stored in here temporarily until I got the house built, so it happened. I think I probably thought about it for 3 days and then decided to do it. So it now is, I've never done the doors. Things get pretty dirty in here, so I don't put anything out here that really, needs to stay clean. A couple propane tanks. Some of the leftover lumber and stuff is in here. I got a little bit of OSB and 1 sheet of plywood in here, that kind of thing. I do have a little bit of insulation that was supposed to be for the house that hasn't happened yet. That kind of stuff. And more lumber. So that's basically it for the shop. I'm going to walk through the bus once just because we haven't seen that lately. More flowers blooming. That's kind of fun. I still use the bus. In fact, I've been thinking, I really miss sitting here, especially in the morning, because you had so much visibility out the window. I don't have that in the house. I've only got 2 smaller windows in the house. And the windows are up high enough I don't really see out as well at the desk. So I'm kind of thinking about this. Now, I don't come home very often. So this isn't a high priority, but it would be a really quick thing. This desk was made out of scraps, just to test the concept. I don't know if it shows up, but this is bowed about 2 inches down in the middle. It's just a mess. Well, I was thinking about it. It wouldn't take me very much to do this just a little bit better, have a little laptop station here that I could sit, do some writing, probably just do writing here, right? So that might happen. I purposely didn't take it completely apart when I started thinking about it because, well, it was a good template for the next one. So I might come back to it. I took the rear seat out of the truck. That gave me more storage room behind the seat for all my camping stuff. There's some Harbor Freight moving blankets that one of them is still up. When I lived in here, I kind of made that for a partition for the winter. So when I was heating the front, all the heat didn't go out the back. I think I'm going to use these in the truck for over winter. Just they do keep you pretty warm actually. So kind of build up some walls with that or something. Now that I don't live here, I was able to set up a lot of these shelves. Probably a good third of the stuff I've got is on the shelves now, so I can find things much easier. This was the biggest problem when I lived in here. I had so much stuff, and it was just stacked to the ceiling, and I could never find anything. So now, with everything else moved out of here, I was able to move things around a little bit, and now I can find things again. So that's, it's an improvement. I still do laundry in here, so I've got plumbing set up to go into here and also to the house off of the same pumps. So it didn't make sense to move every single thing to the house because then it would be more crowded in the house, and this way the bus and the house are about the same length, so why not, this is 8 feet wide and the house is 12 feet wide, so if I can use this as something, that just gives me more room, over there. So I think there was a couple people had asked at one time, if I was going to get rid of the bus now that I have the house. And really, the way I really looked at it, by keeping this, I can make the house as small as it is and not feel like I needed to make a big giant house, because this is already 8 by, I've measured it a few times. The house is about 36 feet long, and the house ends at about the front bumper of the bus. So I got a little less, because of the hood, but yeah. Since I got it, it's relatively dry in here. I get a little bit of leaks off of the vents still, but not too much. But it's perfect for laundry and that kind of thing. So we keep it. I'm gonna have to make another sign. This was, something I was kind of excited about, I guess. I think it took me like 10 or 12 years. And honestly, the first 8 years, I wasn't really trying to build a YouTube channel. I was just using it to showcase some of the work I had done. But it was 2 years ago where I hit 100. And then this last year, I got it up to 500 subscribers. And now we're almost to 1,000. So let's see, we'll kind of look at a couple things here. This was where the water manifold is. I've talked about that in the past. The idea is all of these risers here, I could put a tank on to catch rainwater or when I haul water. So all of these are connected to the same place that the IBC is connected to. So as I build, I've got some place that I can just plug tanks into, and they all have a valve, so I can close them off or whatever. And they all feed where this little sidewalk is here, right in the sun, okay, right there, to this little box. And inside the box, oh, somebody's been digging. This is where all my utilities come in. And when I say utilities, I'm not hooked up to the grid. This is my stuff. So I've got two pumps. The top one is AC powered for when I'm doing laundry on the generator. Bottom one is DC powered. They're both basically connected in parallel. So either one of them can work. And this side feeds to the house and that side feeds to the bus. So by taking the time to build this, it gave me a central location that I could run both old and new off of at the same time. Also, I've got power here coming in. Power comes from that direction. I'll show you that in a minute. And it also goes to the bus and to the house. I got basically two feeds coming that go to the house and two feeds that go to the bus. All right, and also DC power also goes to the house and the bus from the batteries. All right, high tech all the way here. This pipe is for running rainwater into the pumps. That was kind of an addition that was there a couple times and has been taken out and put back in again. So the plan will be, I can do laundry off of these. That's what that's for. I never hooked it up to the other side though, mainly because I ran out of parts that day. So the idea will be able to run this to that side. So when I do have rainwater, I can just do laundry from it. I can take showers from it. It feeds the main pump, or both pumps, I guess. All right. Or by opening or closing valves, I can feed off the IBC. It's just cold enough. I'm almost shivering, so sorry. Last weekend, I was home. I had some cows walking around. And I didn't see it at the time, but after the fact, I looked out here. Yeah, cow walked right through my plumbing here. This is the hot water system. So I don't see any wet leaking kind of thing. I'll kind of keep an eye on that. But that's the trench there that goes to the hot tub. And the idea from that, if you haven't seen the other ones, sun will heat these pipes up. There's water in them. And it circulates with a pump back to this, which is a 300-gallon tank that I insulated. This was something that I was finishing up just before I got started building the house. My plan was to use any scraps left over from the house to come back and finish this. I was going to put a proper lid on it, and I thought maybe I could put some roofing on it or something like that. I had virtually no scraps left over from the house, and so this just never got done. So, yeah, probably wait until next year now to finish it. Don't really need it. It's not going to hurt it anymore. So I'll just kind of leave it for now and deal with it later. Summertime, this worked really good. I don't have enough power to run the pump as much as I need. So it was not I wouldn't call it a failure, but it was a learning experience that just needs a little bit more. So I'll come back and mess with it next year. Considering there was frost, these are not super cold right now at about 9 o'clock in the morning, I think. So they're going to start warming up. I was really curious if I could make this generate heat in the winter, but it's not the highest priority right now. The idea, though, briefly, try to shorten it up. The idea was with 300 gallons of water, if I can heat it during the day and then insulate the tank overnight, that gives me a kind of a thermal mass that I could draw heat from later. Water for my shower, there's a heat exchanging coil inside the tank, and so water for the shower gets pulled through that. And even in the morning, the water coming through that pipe is warmer than the water coming from that tank because of the insulation. So it does work. It's just not very good right now. Harbor Freight kits, you can see where the frost was. I've had a few people commenting, yeah, there is some cracked panels on the plastic. As far as I know, all the panels themselves are still working though. That would be an easy enough thing to do. I've never actually walked around with a meter to make sure they're all working, but I assume they are. Honestly, I never checked. No broken panels, but some broken frames. You know, they're plastic. So, batteries. I'm always waiting for something to jump out at me. Basically, at the moment, batteries are just crap. I noticed it the last month or so. None of them are really holding a charge. I took them apart. I had 4 in here. There's 2 in here at the moment. They're just not holding a charge. I tested them. Individually, I charged them and then let them sit for a while, and none of them are really holding a good charge anymore. So they're all a couple years old. So that's about it for that. I get virtually no usable power out of the system anymore. So I would upgrade that, but honestly, it's almost not worth messing with it until I get new batteries, and if I'm not going to be out here very much, I don't really need it. So the last few times I've been out here, mostly I've been just trying to time things. So like for instance, I know I have to do laundry, so I run the generator anyway while the generator's going. I recharge the laptops and that kind of thing, and just kind of go with that. I've got some DC lighting in the house that is running off of small battery packs. That's good enough. I'm usually only out here for 1 or 2 days out of the week anyway, so. Generator, Northern Tools, 4,000 watt. That's the Ironton 4,000 watt model. That's my second one of those. This one is starting to smoke a little bit. That's what the problem with the other one was. They wear out after a while. This one's lasted a lot longer though because of the solar. So if I don't use it very much, it'll last longer. You know, simple as that. I'll run it till it dies and then get another one. So I'm kind of budgeting for that. I've also got a 9,000 watt generator that I can run the electric clothes dryer with. I don't use it very often because I can line dry. So that's about it for that. I've had a couple comments about the IBC tank. Yeah, you will get algae. I've gotten some algae in there. I add a little bit of chlorine. The issue is I've been filling this from the rainwater. So the rainwater has no chlorine like, you know, town water would have. So then you start to get algae. If you add a little bit of chlorine, it's not as much of a problem. Couple comments where if I could paint the tank, basically you don't get the algae growing if there's no sunlight. So I kind of thought that in the first place. That's why I wrapped the tarp around it, but now the tarp is falling apart. So I think instead of painting it, what I would probably like to do, I thought of this a while ago, if I built a box around it, kind of like what I did for the hot tub, I could insulate the box, and that would keep the sun off of it also, because eventually the sun will kill the tank anyway. You know, it's nothing lasts forever out here, especially plastic. So that's something I've been thinking about. I could also berm it, put dirt around it just to keep it thermally insulated. So that's something to think about. Okay, let's see what else. I guess it's just down to the house now. Oh, door's locked. I just remembered that. I'm far enough off the road. I've never really had anybody coming out here, so if figure if you lock the house, at least then you have some expectation that your stuff will be here. Oh, I mentioned the other generator. This is it here. It's just sitting. I might put that in the little shop, I guess, now. I kind of forgot it was out here. Haven't used it for a while. Alright, to the house. It's going to be kind of dark, I guess. I'll just leave the door open. So this is kind of typical for my days home. You come in, you drag stuff out of the truck to get through the weekend, and then drag it all back out to the truck when you're ready to go. I've got a different stove for in the truck, so I leave the stove set up here. When I'm running the generator, I'll make a pot of coffee, that kind of thing. Day to day, this is kind of how it's sitting though. Last time when I was working in town, when I had the camper, I took this mattress. This is a memory foam mattress. I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure. This is wide enough. I don't really want to put it in the back of the truck because I want to build a really small cocoon to sleep in, and that's bigger than I really need. I might buy another memory foam mattress, see if I can get a narrower one. Memory foam is interesting in the cold weather. It gets hard as a rock. It takes a while for your body to warm it up, so that's maybe not the best option. Yeah. What else is there? I guess just a quick walk around the desk. This was a chance that I could build what I thought would be the ultimate setup. When I get my power figured out, I'll be able to run the big computer. So I've got a Dell workstation type computer. So it's a pretty high power computer for doing video editing. I don't get to use it because I don't have enough power to run it. But when I do, I can run it with all the monitors. And we'll kind of come back to that later, I guess. But in the meantime, I run the Chromebook, which runs about a day and a half on a charge. It's a lot more efficient. So, yeah. Let's see. Pipes. I'm plumbed for running water for the kitchen, but it's like if I don't live out here very much, it doesn't make sense to spend money on a sink, so I just haven't done it yet. I do have a drain and hot and cold. For the shower, for what it is, this is what I had in the bus. It works good enough. It's just a little plastic tub that I cut a drain into, and then I hung these from the rafters. Electric water heater, especially now that it's cold, that works really well. About half an hour for the generator to heat that up, and it's enough for a quick shower. During the week, when I'm working, I've got a gym membership. So I just take a shower at the gym. Costs me about $12 a month, something like that. That's a lot simpler, so I don't worry about it too much. Some of these shelves were in the bus. I just brought them over. This was the biggest issue, was all of my stuff that I had in totes I didn't have easy access to. So I built this room is the storage room, and I specifically made it for shelves for all the totes. And the deep freeze, which I'm not using now because I'm not out here. I don't have power turned on, but yeah, you can kind of get the idea. I added some more shelves. I got all the way up to the ceiling. I got workbenches on both sides, and another assembly table in the middle. A lot of my tools are in the back for power tools. This was in the bus, so I brought it over. I've got a speaker and stereo that runs off a DC, and that's wired right to the solar batteries. Breaker box comes right off of the generator, and I can also run that off the inverter. So I didn't really show that out there, but the setup, it was like, normally you would have a switchover box to switch your generator between grid and generator. Well, I'm not on grid, so because I'm using the inverter has plugins, and the generator has plug-ins. So basically what I'm doing, I made up a set of cords where I can plug it into the generator or plug it into the inverter. So it didn't make sense to spend $100 on a switchover that did the same thing. So that's all I do. So when I'm running the generator, I plug it into the generator. The cords are built into the battery box, but that's basically all they do. So I've got 12 breakers there. I didn't have a main breaker because I didn't really need it. It's not to code probably, but to me it's almost overkill because the generator has its own breakers anyway, and the inverter will fault out before any of these will ever pop. So, but it's, you know, it's nice. What I look at it as, if I'm not in the bus, I can turn off the breakers that go to the bus, and I've got 2 breakers that cover the bus from here. So that's, you know, you're basically set. Also for the orange, that feeds from the generator to here, and then from here over to the electric dryer. So let's see, tools, leftovers from building the house. I got the air compressor, table saw, chop saw, little baby drill press. Not the greatest drill press in the world, but I've used it a few times and it still works. So it's like, hey, you know, it's the cheapest one Harbor Freight has. It's not anything special, but I've used it for a few things lately and it's good enough, right? Whiteboards. I've always liked having whiteboards for sketching out ideas because you can come back to it later and make changes. So I started putting them up. That one was really warped. So I just screwed it to the door. That took the warp out of it. I was like, okay, good enough. This piece right here is a French cleat, and there's a French cleat over there. And the whiteboards out here are all hanging off of French cleats. So for instance, I can grab this, just lift it off, the cleat on the back, I can mount it here, there, and on either side of the shop. So the idea for that, if I sketch something up, oh, also the drawing station here has, oh, it doesn't have French cleat, but it's got the drawing table that I built. I can grab a whiteboard, set it there, and sit or stand or kneel or whatever, and do my drawing, take the board to the back, hang it up on the wall, and then I can see it when I'm building something. So that's kind of how that was set up. Yeah. I think that kind of catches us up here. It's up to 47 degrees inside now, so it's less cold, right? So that's basically it. Get back out in the sun so I can warm up a little bit. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say, well, thank you to everybody who's followed my journey along out here. It's been interesting to me to see how many people are watching my videos and the comments and questions, and sorry if I'm trembling, it's just cold enough, my hand is shaking. But I do appreciate everybody that's watching the videos, that takes the time to comment, and you know, I don't typically end up doing a lot of things people are commenting, but it's interesting how everybody else would do something, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna have this posted probably about the time that we get up to 1,000 subscribers, so we'll just call it 1,000. But I think this morning it was 993 again. I was laughing. I keep looking to see if I would actually see it hit 1,000, and every time I look, it would go back. I'm like, no. Anyway, thanks for following along, and stay tuned. Peace out. Alright, that's about it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. And what else is there? Patreon and PayPal and all that other stuff. Check out the link in the description. I've got a page on my website, gives you a lot more information about the ranch and everything I'm doing out here. So again, thanks for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. More info is on my website. You should totally check that out. Link is in the description. I do things differently.